If someone comes at you with earnest platitudes about how excited and open they are for this journey because of your drive, send them home because they're fucking weird.
There's two options. They're either lying to your face because they want to win the competition,
Yep.
or they are a Stan level psycho and you will end up in their trunk driving off a cliff.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Hi, hello, and welcome to another brand spanking new episode of Another Bachelor Podcast. My name's Dylan. I'm saddled up next to one real... Hang on a second before I introduce you. You got a scrunched face you're looking at me with.
No.
It's all scrunched. You're like, well, what's this guy doing? Well, what do you mean? I'm introing the show.
Yeah, you are. I wasn't crunching it at all.
All right, pretty scrunched face. Next right to... Yeah, exactly.
I think it was a blessing in disguise because could you press record on that main camera?
Okay,
Just so the only
Nick, how
one-
you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you? What's going on, everybody?
Pat, go ahead and filibuster.
I'm doing great while you go turn a camera on.
How come you didn't give me the opportunity to filibuster? I think I could filibuster just fine while you get up and turn the camera on for us. I would have done a great job of it. Nailed it.
In our production meeting prior to the show, though, Dylan and I discussed that I would like to, talk about something right at the top of the show.
Oh, right on. That is true.
So
I
don't be
was
so
here.
paranoid. You sound like Clare right now. Oh, we talked about The Bachelor. Look at that.
Nice.
It was a joke.
Okay, so we have got to get to a couple PSAs before we jump into what is sure to be the best episode of the season. I don't think we're going to top this, but we'll get to general thoughts in a minute. Pat?
Thank you for the floor, Dylan. Okay, I'll be brief.
Here's the
as well.
floor, Pat.
Thank you. We want you guys to get over there and leave us a review in the iTunes ratings and review section. Give us 5 stars, and I'll give you an example of what not to do. Lemur3 wrote, too tedious. Had to leave around 17 minutes. She's too difficult and makes little sense over Clare. 1 star. Lemur3.
We didn't do anything. It's like going to a restaurant saying there was too much traffic. 1 star.
I didn't cast Claire. You can't give us 1 star for that, you idiot.
We had nothing to do with it.
Ugh. I don't know if I can do this anymore.
Don't be such a pussy. Okay, can we move on?
Yeah.
All right, guys. It's episode 2 in Claire's La Ventura. A little Foley session over there. A little sip and then a beard scratch, huh?
Sorry.
Okay. Before we get into the episode, we have to get into a fan favorite segment that is general thoughts. And let me break that down really quickly. That is where we, myself, Pat, and Nick, give our thoughts on the episode, generally speaking.
Who's going to go first?
I'd say Nick's going to go first.
Watch it, Nick.
I think, fellas, we really have to savor what we witnessed tonight. There was ups and downs that aren't usually displayed on the formulaic Bachelor Nation. And we know as it winds down, they have no choice but to be formulaic. Maybe someone leaves someone at the altar. That's the best case scenario. But there was a lot of shenanigans tonight. I think it's the best it's going to get. 88
Pots.
Petals.
Petals.
It was pots.
Pat.
Okay.
Kidding. I'm going to go second. I'm a little conflicted. Because while I'm enjoying this season so much, it's cynical, morbid enjoyment because it's pretty crazy to watch the train wreck that is Clare as the Bachelorette. I mean, we'll see throughout the evening. Clare loathes Clare. She fucking despises Clare, and it's really, really sad to see. I want her to do better in life, but at the same time, I don't think that she should be on reality television, period, let alone being the lead of a reality television program that is broadcast to millions and millions and millions of people. With that being said, it's hilarious. It's really hilarious, but I want it to come to an end pretty soon because it's going to get too sad. I'm going to go ahead and give it 91 petals.
Seems like you were rating more of Claire than the actual episode, Dylan.
The two are rather intertwined.
I'll get us back on track here. All right, so I love this episode.
Did you say you'll get us back on track?
Yeah.
You mean me talking about The Bachelorette?
Well,
wasn't
your job is to actually talk about the episode. And again, it was a very broad description of your hatred for Clare being the Bachelorette.
Okay. All right.
Get us back on track.
Hop us
Pat.
back on track, Pat.
Okay, all right. I loved this episode. It's
this
one of
feels
my
good.
favorite episodes. I think you used that analogy. It was like a train going off the rails or whatever.
Yeah,
you shouldn't feel guilty because you're enjoying the kind of the Schadenfreude of seeing this broken person make a fool of herself on TV.
And your pots?
Oh, hold on. I got to tell you why I love the
got
episode.
it.
Okay. We had a scene where Claire gave a talking to the boys because for the crime of not asking to go take her away.
Well, it was pretty awkward.
Well, I'm there. Not all these guys go to how to be on reality TV class, if you know what I mean.
You are offering for. We'll talk about your class later.
Yeah. I'll do it at the end of the show.
Good tease.
There was a scene here tonight where this, I assume, definitely on steroids, if not drunk during the scene, Jason. The task or the exercise they're going to do is they write down things that people have said and think about them. Right. This is the list that Jason gave. He's manipulative, selfish, insecure, cold, and mean. And after he shared this with her, it turned her on. She's a very sick person. 99 pots.
Wow. If you could kind of get back on track, because I feel like you're pretty focused on her right now, and if you could just get back on track.
He has tasted his own medicine, and it is bitter.
All right. So now that we are 10 minutes into the podcast, let's talk about the episode. But before we do, I should say the producers need a little lighter hand with the what's coming up package. The editing is it's ridiculous. After Claire says, "Does anyone want to spend time with me?" which is an all-time Bachelorette line. They cut in someone saying, "Hell no, not in a million years." That did not happen. Cool it. Just take it a little easy. We're watching the show.
Bachelor production is notorious for manipulating the viewers with these teasers.
Yeah.
Though it was just consecutive bold-faced lies, right. I have to admit I was titillated by this preview we saw.
Yeah, I'm just going to say there's a difference between manufacturing and gross deceit. The guys are released from quarantine. Their reward is that they get to pretend to be walking into a new resort.
One of these morons referred to that rundown old people's home as a palace.
Yeah, they pop bottles of $11 Prosecco. And again, Disney, can you throw a little more shekels at this show? It's unbelievable. It's your top earner.
It's not like you're going to have to rent any helicopters this season. Jesus fucking Christ.
What are you talking about?
Well, Bachelorette is always a lot of helicopter scenes. They're flying them somewhere, going to Thailand.
Oh, right.
Buy a $22 bottle of champagne.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe give them a bottle of Vouv.
If you're offering plus money on there aren't going to be helicopters, I'll take that bet, Pat. We're going to see some choppers.
I think so too. So Shitface walks into the lion's den and tries to force this weird perspective onto the guys. It's like... it's kind of how meaningful has this meaningless process meant to you guys? It's really quite fruitless.
I actually wrote down what he said. You want me to read it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he shows.
Now, is this what he said?
This is exactly word for word.
Okay.
He tells the guys, "Claire is so happy that you are all here. She told me that her husband is here. So his name's Dale. So enjoy watching them date. And in the meantime, try and jockey yourself for a position on next season of Bachelor in Paradise."
Yeah, okay.
See you guys.
That's what he said?
Word for word.
I'm watching it at 1.3 speed, so I really got to cool it down a little bit. Maybe I could pick up on more of the nuance.
No one loves the traditional formula of the Bachelor more than Chris Harrison, obviously.
Right.
And I think he's becoming increasingly frustrated with these millennials, and we're even sneaking in some Gen Zers who just do not respect exactly how this is supposed to go.
Yeah, they don't.
So he's coming in
either.
and he's like, "Listen, you need to take this serious. Quit fucking around."
Right. Yeah, no, he's a tyrant, and he really has no choice, because if he's not tyrannical, he will get fucking killed. All right, so the date card gets dropped. Pat, need a little bit of a roll call.
Roll call. Here's who's going on the first date. Hit the music. I don't have anything funny to say about these assholes because I haven't seen too much of them yet. Anyway, regardless, Riley, Jordan, Gilson. Is there a guy named Gilson here? Ivan.
Definitely not.
No.
Bennett, or Ben. 2 Zachs, and of course, Dale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jeez, close. Riley, Jordan, Yosef, Ivan, Ben, Bennett, Zach C, Zach J, and Dale.
Hey, let's go ahead and rank his roll call. I'm going to give it 0 knots.
6 knots.
Yeah,
Pat.
really shitty stuff from you. Holy shit. Okay, so the date card says that she wants someone to speak to her heart. Jordan, who has no chance. And I mean...
In life.
No. I mean, on the show.
Oh.
None of them have a chance at this, but he really has no chance.
Let's assume when we say something like he has no chance, he's like the worst here, we're excluding Dale. Like, because there's some guys who like Jordan, the psychopath, who might as well have Jason,
the psychopath,
who might as well have juggled red flags right in front of Claire.
Yeah.
He would have had a chance in another life. This guy. No chance.
No chance. So the date card says that she wants someone to speak to her heart. Jordan says that could mean a number of different things, but that he's going to try to have fun with it because he knows that Claire wants to have fun with them. Who goes on this show? What kind of insane person would go on the show and be filmed saying things like this? It's so embarrassing.
Dylan, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Not only be on this show, but let's talk about, because they did a couple little exercises or games or something, competition things here. The first one was what I called the suck up exercise. This is where Claire, who none of these guys have met previously, are given the task to dutifully tell her everything great about her.
Right.
And I was thinking, not only to your point, how could you be on the show? How could you be a person that could accept the accolades of what's coming out of these people's mouth? I mean, that is full-blown narcissist stuff. When a producer pitched that to me, if I was ever the Bachelor, I go like, they don't know me. It's be weird.
Sure.
If I may, I want to share a personal story.
Sure.
Back in college,
people love this.
In speech class, the teacher said, all right, you got to get with another student, interview them, and then you're going to get up there and give a speech, like an award ceremony about this student. So I get matched up with this older woman who was just not, college age. She's probably in her early 40s. She starts laying out her life, like a lot of drug abuse and a lot of bad divorces. So I diligently write down her entire life.
Yeah.
I go up there and deliver a speech like no one's ever seen. I talk about her drug abuse and getting through it. I think I went a little too far.
Yeah.
This woman, she is in tears.
Yeah,
she just won the Oscars.
Right.
I have to say, the reason she was crying wasn't probably because she thought she or felt she had won an Oscar. It was probably because you just shared her deepest,
That's
darkest
what I was
secrets
confused about. I was
in
wondering
front of
why
the
you
entire
thought,
class. She was in despair.
Yeah. Why,
not elation.
Why did you think that she was crying? Because of your performance and not all the horrific things you revealed about her?
Maybe I'm a narcissist.
Yeah,
For 20
I think so.
years, I thought I did a great job.
This whole thing is a journey through love languages. Now, I would like to get your guys' love languages, but the problem is we haven't been talking about the show that much, so I think we're going to move past us.
Time is very precious to me, so if I'm spending time with you, that should mean the world to you. That is my love language, no doubt about it.
Okay, that's not a love language. But
Yes,
anyways,
it is.
No,
It
it's
is.
not.
Yes, it is. Quality time. Are you kidding? You don't know the love languages.
It's touch,
It's words of
affirmation, and gifts.
No,
That's
and
it.
it's quality time.
Jeez.
It's one of the words about you are wrong. Errors and omissions. Dylan right now.
The most crucial love language to Claire being affirmations, because, and we'll get to this later, like I said, she despises herself. So it's truly sad to see. And again, not a difficult crystal ball to read. Claire was a horrific pick. She doesn't have enough self-confidence. And this isn't an ageist thing. It's just fact. Like, as you get older, the confidence in yourself should solidify a little bit more. She's 39 and she has the self-confidence of a 15-year-old girl, so she needs this, and it's really, really pathetic. But are there any guys you guys want to highlight specifically, or should we just get to Dale?
I very quickly want to touch on your point. I loved your take that she has the confidence of a 15-year-old girl. I don't think her age has anything to do with it.
Yeah,
because she reminds me of a young lady we saw on Pilot Peter's season.
Yes.
McKenna. And people don't like the term young lady. She was the youngest on the season.
She was like 22. It was an insane
and
casting
she was
choice.
Iago. She was Iago.
This woman also lacked confidence, but she tried to pump herself up with her own words of affirmation, and often to me it felt like in her head she had Alicia Keys' "This Girl Is on Fire" playing in her head, and she seemed to me to be or Claire is McKenna 20 years in the future.
Yeah, and people say, you should have that kind of self-confidence in yourself, play Alicia Keys in your brain when you walk into a meeting, stuff like that. But there's a problem where sometimes it can't reconcile with the reality of the room. Sometimes it just doesn't work, no matter how confident you are. Okay, so any guys you want to highlight specifically, or should we just get to Dale?
I want to say one note. I want to say I appreciated the guys, while they're all insane for being on the show, they didn't go full crazy with the speeches. It was just generic, basic anecdote fare.
Yeah.
They, like I've known you all your life, and
Could
you were
you
a beautiful
do this?
Never.
You don't think you could?
Except 20 years ago when I did it in speech writing class.
Got it.
I just thought the first guy, Ben, actually blew everybody away.
Yeah.
The words he said, I was moved. Everybody else was a little surface level.
Yeah, stunning stuff from Ben. And speaking of surface level, obviously, career, charisma, command of the English language, these things do not matter to Claire. She can only see that Dale is a smoking hot hunk of dick. I've said it before, but he's certainly not the best talker. Pat?
I'm so excited to hear from Dale. I want to see if there is chemistry, if there is that connection with him.
Claire, I think it goes without saying that I couldn't be more excited to be here for each and every moment of this. For me, I can't even remember how to find love. And when I saw your energy and your spirit, you really made me feel comfortable committing to that. And I'm committed to giving you everything I have, physically, emotionally. I trust you, and I'm here for every bit of it. I don't care who's watching. I am who I am, and I'm here.
Okay.
What a rambling mess.
He's terrible. He has no game whatsoever. You would hope that you'd get a Megatron type of futuristic threat, because he's so hot. He's like a demigod, but he has no game whatsoever.
I'm telling you, this is all rooted in him being the big man on campus at South Dakota State University.
Yep.
This type of going through the motions attitude, he was throwing out just words, just a Mad Lib of what he thought was meaning.
It was a generic Bachelorette Mad Lib. It's very specific.
With no heart behind it, and that's going to get you cut from a football team, but it's gonna get this 40-year-old cougar wet.
Okay.
Well, hey, let me say,
alrighty.
I don't know if you guys have been going deep dives on this guy Dale, but they actually have tape of him getting interviewed from a year ago, in which he was telling somebody that his goal, now that his football career was over, was aspiring to be on TV as a sportscaster or a TV personality.
Yeah.
And his idol is Ryan Seacrest.
Okay, that's a weird one.
I thought it was weird too.
A weird one, yeah.
But typically, if your goal is to be on TV, you would work at a news station and you'd be intern, but not this generation.
You go Jesse Palmer. You fucking fast track yourself to ESPN College Game Day.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't think Ryan Seacrest is that weird of a hero. I find his work ethic to be quite inspiring.
Did you say his worth ethic?
Both.
I think I actually.
Nah.
Listen back.
Okay.
But the point is, he's actually a great hero and someone who's actually inspired me over the last decade or so.
Okay.
And quite funny. Did you see him in Knocked Up?
Definitely not. So the guys...
Yeah, you did. The neighborhood's in disarray.
That one is 50 feet over our heads.
No, it's carrying heavy weaponry.
Oh, because of the upcoming war with China. Mm-hmm. So the guys run back and get gifts. This was not set up well at all by production. It was random. It was bizarre. It didn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. Any gift, or should we just get to Dale?
Bobby Fischer gives her a chess piece.
Okay.
A guy a former baseball
player.
Bobby
Fischer was a white guy, hated Jews.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
A lot of former athletes, I guess, on this season of The Bachelor. Right?
Yep.
One that looks like he's a few short chromosomes of an apple bunch. I don't know. I'm making that up on the fly.
Okay.
He gives her a sweaty T-shirt.
Yep.
He's got a weird forehead, though.
Yeah.
Some idiot gives her empty boxes.
Hello, Damien.
Yeah. You guys watch Love is Blind?
We covered it on our Patreon, patreon.com/Another Podcast Network, the whole first season, and we're going to do season 2.
It's unbelievable. It's maybe better than Gilmore Girls.
Dale gives her something for perfume for her dogs.
Yes.
Now, she
exactly.
could have done some Instagram posts or something when he was doing some research. I don't know.
Okay.
This might indicate there was a little bit of communication prior to the show
Look at you,
starting.
little TFC, little tinfoil cap. All right, so
I have one more gift to point out. It was actually my favorite. It was very quick. They didn't shine a ton of light on it. But Zach, he gave a floppy softcover book, which Zach, if you recall, is the sobriety coach or
the addict specialist.
The addict specialist.
addiction specialist.
And as we posited, Pat, he was a former addict himself, an alcoholic, a divorced alcoholic, who went so far to get pain pills one time, he faked pain to get a gallbladder removal. And
you don't need that organ, just so you know.
I have an inkling, just a hunch that the floppy book he gave her was the AA handbook.
Holy shit.
And
That's all true?
I don't know if he actually got the gallbladder taken out, but he was. I didn't read the rest of it, but he was telling doctors they were talking about getting his gallbladder removed.
Yeah.
It might have been the tease, and he actually didn't go that far.
Yeah.
But he is divorced, alcoholic, loves pain pills.
Drugs are a hell of a thing. They're a hell of a thing. Knew a guy one time tried to hold up a pharmacy in a motorcycle helmet. Got arrested immediately. Didn't work out. Went to jail. All right, so Clare commits the same sin that the bigot Juan Pablo committed during his season: overt and overwhelming physicality with one contestant in front of the others. With JP, it just so happened to be Clare, who needs to really calm the fuck down. She's moaning. Her voice is cracking. She's as close to climax as is possible, fully clothed and standing in front of a bunch of strangers. She needs to cool it. She's too horny for the guy.
Yeah, she literally dry humps Dale in front of 5 guys.
Oh, yeah.
And a camera crew.
The blindfolds needed to be on the people who were watching it, because you really didn't need the blindfolds for the 2 people involved. Anyways, nighttime.
Night date.
Oh, we get to the 4th love language, quality time, as it was introduced to us by the host of the show, Chris Harrison. Hey, I had to call back to that uncomfortable moment, but yeah, here we are, quality time, which is mine.
Sure. All right, so Claire sits down for a little toast, and then things get kind of awkward.
What she said, her toast was really awkward.
Yeah. And we'll play. Oh, do you have
I wrote it down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is what Claire says to the guys. She cheers to finding love, and then she says, I hope you guys are able to find it someday.
Yeah. Dale, come with me, sweetheart. No, but I do want to play this toast, and I want a quick update on Dale leading into said toast. Pat?
Going into this love languages date, I wanted to know more about Dale. He's the guy I like the most here right now. Everything feels so natural with Dale. I cannot wait to be pulled aside
Dale's playing.
and just continue sharing the love. I just wanted to say I am so impressed by you guys today. I know I said it earlier, but you guys brought it with the love languages. I just feel like I'm so on the right path, and you guys opening up and sharing with me meant so much to me. Cheers to finding love.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. How was your guys' evening?
Good. Missing you, of course.
I know, I was missing you guys too.
Yeah.
We all did great today. We were talking about it earlier, and we respect you and we respect each other.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, should we get the night started?
I didn't know when I saw that scene the darkness that was about to unfold.
Oh, yeah.
You really got stuck in her craw.
Yeah, big time. So she takes this,
Gay Superman.
oh, sorry?
Sorry.
Gay Superman? Oh, Bennett, are you
Yeah.
talking about? I guess it wasn't that far of a reach, but you've never used that moniker before, so you'd understand that.
It's pretty obvious.
I guess so. All right, so she sits down with Harvard guy Bennett. How do we think this went?
Call him Gay Superman.
Okay, sorry. How do we think this went?
Not well.
I can't believe these people exist. like he understands the cliche he is. He goes, New York, Harvard guy, blah, 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 American Psycho. I love who you listen to the news. I'm going to smash your head. I'm going to stab you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't believe he's real.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's the thing. He's not real because he is so blatantly a caricature of the person that he wishes he was. I mean, this guy was formerly homeless. I think there's something going on with this guy. This guy got swanned somehow.
He works in a kitchen wearing a wife beater and internet.
He works at a Panera Bread.
I
Not that
agree.
there's anything wrong with that.
No, more grease. I'm picturing more
Greasy
grease
spread.
around him.
Okay, got
All
it.
right, to be fair to gay Superman, though,
Yeah.
I do like your take that he's lying about this whole finance
100%.
job, and he actually is just kind of one of
Way
those
too on the nose.
con men.
Yeah.
New York, Harvard guy. Just
Stocks.
Again, Mad Lib.
Stocks Pizza. I'm New York.
All right, he does a trope of dudes that don't have game, which is he leans into the bullshit of how well he's doing in the finance and stuff. But that being said, Claire didn't give a fucking shit about what was coming out of this man's mouth.
He said it. She doesn't care about the three things: career, confidence.
Career, charisma, or command of the English language. The 3 C's.
Right. But yeah, she's got something stuck in her craw. She needs to settle the hash. I've been there. I'm talking to somebody, but I'm not being present.
You're not
because
there at all.
I need to get even.
That's the really fascinating thing about consciousness is we can be somewhere
The fourth C.
and be so distant at the same time,
yes.
almost more in that distant place. And you can see it. Okay, so let's play the clip of her walking back to the guys. And then I also want to play Dale's response to her because he really whiffs on the third C here.
But I really couldn't concentrate and like focus on talking with him because I'm a little bit taken aback. I'm sitting here, I had made a toast, and then there was the longest awkward silence. And I just sat here and was embarrassed and had to like, almost like, does anybody want to spend time with me?
I'll take a moment to speak for the group. I don't think that was.
You don't need to speak for the group, you need to speak for yourself. If you guys all want to hang out with each other, you can do that, and I can go home and go to bed.
We're gonna get lit
At
up
the
in
end of the
Juliet
day,
Lipman's
I'm a woman.
Facebook group.
And I want my man to show me you care.
You go in the lion's den, prepare to get bit.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is it just hurt me.
All right, well, can we change that?
That
Can I
hurt
have
her.
some quality time with you?
I honestly didn't know it was like time to like take you off. Does that make sense?
But it doesn't matter. Like, you shouldn't feel like that. But in like the fact that like I feel like knowing that you felt like that, I never want you to feel like that when you're around me.
I appreciate that.
Never again will I restrict how I feel if there's 10, 9, whatever men. Since I've been here, since our first night together, since getting the first impression rose, I was like on cloud 9. I've been on cloud 9. I'm still on cloud 9, you know?
I do want to contrast the music bed that was playing under Dale's speech to
So much hope.
to the ominous choice of music that's played right here.
What I wanted to say is, you're crazy to think that we didn't all come here for you.
See, I gotta stop you though.
I don't know that.
Let me just.
The power of music. The power of music. But yeah, it's
Can you imagine dating this person?
Dale.
No, Claire.
Oh, got it.
This is what ticked her off.
Listen, I'm convinced that they're not going to work. The batting average for successful couples on the show is not 1,000, but they might be perfect for one another because Dale is a full-blown dumbass. I mean, full-blown dumbass. He just said, he says, I've been on cloud 9. I'm still on cloud 9 with the earnesty of someone who was, I don't have an analogy, but I mean, he was earnest.
Hey, you know, this scene that unfolded here, where Claire lets the guys have it, and then they instantly, oh, I'm sorry. Did you ever see that episode in Twilight Zone where the little boy take him out to the corn?
Yeah.
The adults are terrified that the little kid's going to kill them at any
Turn them
moment.
into toys, yeah.
So they just suck up to him and say, what can I get you? There was a little bit
Yeah.
of that happening here. It was pathetic.
Yeah. Well, there have been mentally unstable dictators in the past that people are rather terrified of because they're so unpredictable. I mean, she is she's Caligula. I mean, she's horned up. She doesn't want to have orgies with different beasts and genders, but she is presiding over the destruction of this empire known as the Bachelor.
I think if you want to take two modern day examples, I mean, you got Ramzat Kadyrov and Rodrigo Duterte.
Exactly. All right, so Yosef steps up. He knocks it out of the park. I get what he's saying, but maybe don't use the word crazy to her face. I know that it was said in context, but it's just it's putting your foot in your mouth. Riley is very, very upset.
He's riled up.
Why?
About Yosef speaking on behalf of the group.
I want to say, can I do a meanwhile?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, while all this is taking place, I believe gay Superman is still sitting in that room waiting for Claire to come back.
You sure?
Yeah, he was not sitting there at the table. She left him to say, I'll be right back.
He's just hanging out. He found a toothpick and he just pops it in and he's just talking about how he's killing it.
Well, I mean, I was thinking, how polite of you, Claire, not even a gesture to go back over and then say, oh, come back over with the group. Instead, she's off in the woods getting fingered by Dale while the other guys fight.
Take it easy there. So a few of the guys step up to take her away when she raises concerns about their interest in her, because again, this is her lifeblood. Affirmations from strangers. We've got Jay. I think Riley gets up. I mean, everyone kind of says like, let me fix this. Let me fix this.
Yep.
And in a usual suspects type of twist, she goes away with Dale. Now, she is doing insane things with her face when she is talking to him. I think it's largely contributed to the filler, but also the fact that she has a powerful and involuntary lust for this man. There's nothing she can do. It's physiological. She can't help it.
She actually tells him, and boy, if we didn't know the backstory of this with all the spoilies here, she definitely tipped her hand here. She says, thank you for stealing me away from those other guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I need a meanwhile.
Meanwhile,
Chasen, the mentally challenged young man, gets the group date. Excuse me, the one-on-one date. One of the guys says, don't stay out too late and don't kiss her. Hey, what's your name? And before you tell me, fuck off. What the fuck?
It did sound like you said Chasen, but it's Jason.
It's Jason. Excuse me, it is Jason. Back to Claire and her trauma on display. She sits down with the former addict turned specialist. She tells him about the abuse that she's faced in the past and that the Juan Pablo season, her having her moment, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but she's very preoccupied and rather proud of this moment. It's like she's held on to mementos from that day that she doesn't really care about. But again, we'll get to that later.
She went so far as to compare the abuse to a drug. And I actually think this was a little bit of editing, leaving stuff out. I don't think she arrived to that analogy by herself. Because as I posited earlier, I believe Zach gave her the AA handbook.
Right.
And I believe he, once again, was blabbering on about his former addiction to drugs because there's nothing more an addict loves than to talk about drug addiction.
We've often compared her to a prize fighter. And, this is why I think America is largely uncomfortable watching Claire. And this is why Mickey should not have done this. To put this in your parlance, Nick, this is like De La Hoya teeing up Chuck and Tito to fight at the age of 40. Their brains are mushed. I'm not saying Claire's is, but it's pretty fucking close.
Emotional CTE.
This whole thing is over. It's over. We don't need to run this back because we get stuff like this and it's fucking sad.
Better for myself. I know that I'm not the youngest girl in the room. I know that I'm not the skinniest girl in the room or the prettiest girl in the room or whatever, but I know I have one of the greatest hearts in the room. And I have so much to share and have so much to give. And I want that with a man.
It's good to know that.
This girl is on fire.
Can you imagine being on a first date with somebody and they're like, I may not be the skinniest girl in the room. I may not be the youngest, but I have a good heart. Okay.
Yeah,
can I have another drink, please?
On the first date, you pretend you are all those things.
Jesus Christ.
Now I have a theory of this. Can we talk about Riley? He's the black guy.
Yes.
Riley immediately apologizes to her for not jumping into place sooner.
Yes.
Then he brings her back. I love this little thing that guys do. He takes her back to 1996 at their high school prom, listening to Boys to Men, where If I've done the math correctly, Claire was 23 years old, but got a waiver to attend that prom.
Okay, so yeah, it's Riley. They do dance to Boyz II Men, and he says that's what I'm talking about a baker's dozen times, and then refers to himself as the last stand. He's pretty smooth. His arms are too large, but he does sound like Denzel, and Claire's kind of too dumb to be weirded out by how forced this whole thing is. Like, again, you're on your first date. Why are you calling yourself the last stand? So Sigma Chi, Yosef, seemed to have a problem with the way that Claire behaved.
You put it nicely. He laid it out. He's going to tell her she's a fucking nutbag.
He's going to wind up in jail, I think.
Well, he's a medical device salesman, whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah.
Lots of insurance fraud in that industry.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, really?
Charging the insurance company $800 for a wooden cane.
Right. Oh, got it.
That's what he's doing.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, no, he's parading around these United States, and he's doing horrific things to women in cheap hotel rooms. And he's going to go to prison for something in the future because this guy has way too much testosterone pumping through his body. It's too much pre-workout. It really changes your chemistry. So anyways, Jason, the slow 31-year-old, gets the one-on-one.
I am ready. I am set. We are ready to get this gun going.
He's on steroids or he's had a few cockies before that date. There's something off with him. He looked at the cameras. He was cross-eyed a couple times.
Okay, so we love our baby birds.
Yeah.
Jump into that community, facebook.com. Search Another Bachelor Podcast. We're going to war with China. So Lucas Daub, wonderful contributor, said that he did a little digging on old Jason. He did used to play in the NFL. Didn't cut the mustard because there is, I guess, there is an IQ test that's administered to incoming players. You know, people think it's just brute force, but there's a lot of intellect that goes into memorizing plays and stuff like that, remembering coverages and stuff like that. Jason scored the second lowest score in the league's history.
Before you give his score, I just do want to give some context to the Wonderlic score, which is not just used by the NFL. It's used by corporations all over the world to kind of just give a ballpark, a reference point. You get 12 minutes, 50 questions. This is the median score by profession. Up at the top, we've got systems analyst 32, a chemist 31, electrical engineer 30. Down at the bottom, we've got security guard 17, welder 17, houseman 15, janitor 14. Dylan, why don't you let the people know what Jason scored?
5.
He got a 5 out of 50 on the Wonderlic.
This Wonderlic test sounds like a real asshole. So systems analysts are the only smart people in the world. Who's Wonderlic? I mean, Jason is dumb as a fucking doorknob, but
we had engineer, programmer, accountant, all at the top. Executive 28, reporter 28. Wow, that surprises me. But I do want to give a plug. I'm actually glad we have another day to record another podcast show because before we record the next episode of Another Podcast Show, which you can find us, Goof Gab, it's on patreon.com/Another Podcast Network. We do it weekly. We are all going to take the Wonderlic test and
that sounds fun.
Oh my God,
and
that's
present
so
our
fun.
scores. I just thought of it.
I'm really excited.
I'm assuming
for
it's
that.
more problem solving, not like history. Like what year was Abraham Lincoln assassinated?
It's a lot of logic. Like it'll give 3 dates. Like which one of these is later? They used to have a mock Wonderlic test in Madden 2003.
So yeah, obviously, this is the one who doesn't even need to be inside ever and loves the film My Cousin Vinny. The one-on-one will be the trademark premature vomiting up of personal pain to a complete stranger on camera. Claire says that she saw vulnerabilities that he covered up with his humor immediately because she's an empath. You know, she can really read people. That's why she doesn't fall for bullshit like Dale. This really just means the producers handpicked the idiot that was the most honest about his hardship on the application. You know, like the producers are looking through the applications. They're like, Jesus Christ, you didn't need to write a novel on how your parents shouldn't have been together on this application. We asked you your favorite food.
Can I back up a little bit here, Dilly,
Yes.
and give this date, which is lovely, by a campfire outside. I should mention this was shot in August in Palm Springs, and it was probably about 105 degrees
At night.
Yeah, so that was probably lovely for them.
Yep.
All right, so there's been a lot of therapy talk throughout this entire. I didn't really catch it the first episode, but definitely episode 2, I would have called it the therapy session.
Right.
They start out by doing scream therapy, which was a big thing in the 90s, possibly even the 80s. This is where people would go into rooms with a therapist and just scream, "I was raped by my uncle!"
Okay.
And somehow you're working some of this stuff out. Turns out they found that this actually makes you angrier. It doesn't actually fix anything in your life. It's
That's
kind of
so
dumb.
funny.
The next stage was in the 2000s. They had people show up and actually smash glass and stuff. That didn't work out either.
Right.
But
Neither did Serenity Now.
but they started out with that, and then this next stupid exercise that Claire engages Jason in.
Sure, and that is writing down all your vulnerabilities, putting them in a clay pot, throwing it against the wall, and then thinking that they disappear because you do that?
You said it right, Dale, but I believe you got one thing inaccurately. It was what people have told you about yourself.
Got it. Okay. Well, somewhere around this hodgepodge of bullshit, she asks him if he saw her season. This is the second or third time we're talking about her moment.
Hey, can we play the clip of Claire and her letter to her younger self? Can we play that?
Sure.
Ready for mine?
I am.
Dear younger self, I want to let you know how proud I am of you. You've already fought so many battles that no one even knows about, and yet you somehow managed to get up every single day and face the world with an open heart. If there's one thing I can tell you, it's that all the pain and hurt is far too heavy for you to carry alone. So please let the ones you love in. The more you allow others in, you share your truths and show the world the beautifully imperfect human that you are, you will see that you are no longer alone. And somehow magically, in revealing and releasing the things that once brought you shame, embarrassment, and unworthiness will heal that tender heart of yours. So don't give up on yourself. The best is yet to come.
That's good. That's amazing.
Thank you.
All right. So the younger Jason, we've seen and been through so much together.
I saw that coming from a mile away. I was like, my two buddies have their phones pulled up.
Let me say,
A good old Mexican standoff with sound cues. I didn't even know.
This is with all seriousness, gentlemen. When is China coming here to take over America? We have lost our goddamn minds.
They won't ever invade the shores of the United States because behind every blade of grass is a gun. Now that is a line that is touted by Second Amendment activists, and it's bullshit. That's not an axiom that was ever uttered in the Orient. It's just made up by people who don't want to give up their guns, and I get it. Guns are fun.
Who cares what you think? No politics.
What was the specific saying, though?
In America, behind every blade of grass is a gun.
Oh.
And it's kind of true. I mean, if I was an army and I was rolling through Route 311 in fucking Craig County, Virginia, there would be a U-shaped ambush of hillbillies. You'd probably take them all out, but you would sustain a lot of fucking casualties. Okay, so moving on.
What happened to Claire? I mean, she's saying it. Basically, there's some stuff that happened that people don't know about.
Yes.
And I'm not going to get us in trouble with a lot of the ladies and stuff, but something happened besides just a bad boyfriend,
100%.
a breakup. And I don't really think she's really done the work that you needed to do in therapy.
No way.
'Cause
no way. She's the same person almost exactly that she was on Juan Pablo's season.
yes.
The exact same fucking person.
Yep.
And honestly, like, I in a way, I hope there is something really serious, and she's just not being flippant about these first world problems where she's an 8 and isn't getting treated well by some fuckboys. Because, like, imagine if you were her fat sister, how
She has a
resentful
fat sister, yeah.
I know. I'm saying how
Yeah.
resentful they feel. Is she's complaining when she's got that body?
Yeah, leave 5 stars. So anyways, this guy's like Rob Gronkowski, but with a much more troubled past. Were you guys alarmed at how concerned he was with divulging his vulnerabilities?
I was actually concerned at how he just did it and actually was truthful. I would never admit to this stuff. Can I read the list of the stuff he said people, ex-girlfriends have said about him?
Go ahead.
He's manipulative. He's selfish. He's insecure. He's cold. And he's mean.
I said it earlier. He might as well have juggled red flags right in front of her.
But there was also this like, he said all those things that people had said about them, but then there was this like, I don't know if I'm ready to like show you what's going on. And one, like, it's so inappropriate to coax like the deepest, darkest, traumatic things out of someone on camera who's this low on the Wonderlic scale or whatever. It's just it's very, very.
This would be
do it like Pat. Do it in a class and then give a speech about it.
Right. This would be inappropriate even in a speed dating thing. Right. I don't know if they still do that now. People meet on.
It's called Tinder.
Yeah, Tinder, and then they fuck.
Sure, but I was like, what is this guy about to confess? Because it could have gone one of two ways. It could be a murder, like for sure. Like, I mean, he sounded that concerned. Like,
I thought it was bare-handed rage murder. Like
Yeah.
he overpowered someone, choked them, the life out of them, watched it, felt it.
It could have been that, but it also could have been shoplifting when he was in junior high that he just hasn't told anyone about. He just seems so developmentally arrested. It's unbelievable. All right, it's Clare is one of the reasons why this is so inappropriate is because Clare is the person, this shaman through the expression of the trauma. She's like, don't worry, just tell me everything. It'll bring me closer to you.
I killed somebody once.
Yeah, you don't
when I was
know
14.
That. You don't know that for sure, Clare.
It was an accident. I mean, I wanted them dead, but
we need to wrap this up. But my favorite part about the evening is after she gives him the rose, she pulls out her dress that she wore on that fateful day when Juan Pablo broke up with her, and she said, I wouldn't, I don't want you being the father to my children, which Pat has brought up in the past. It's a very good point. Had he said, do you want, it's quite fascinating to think about the dichotomy here. If Juan Pablo had said,
will you be my wife?
She would have said yes.
Mm-hmm.
So how could someone hold in their heart, I don't want this man around my children, but I want to marry him? It's almost like she's a chameleon that's just floating with the wind.
Well, think about what's happening in this moment here. To your point, nothing's really changed with her emotionally in any growth. What we learn with her interaction with Jason is this is what you do if you want to win her heart. Wear a Hanes white T-shirt on your date on a nationally televised show. Tell Clare you regret choking your ex-girlfriend. Watch her get horny, and then she'll ill-advisedly decide to throw a dress she wore on the final rose ceremony with JP into a campfire.
Yeah, so this dress, she says, means nothing to her.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, you did the math. How long has she kept this?
I believe it was 6 years. Was it Pat was really the
It was filmed in 2013, aired January 2014.
The better part of a decade she has held on to this dress, which means nothing to her. But she does burn it in a fire, so say la vie.
I'll do that sometimes. I don't want to be wasteful. I've got a bunch of T-shirts I really don't care about, but I've had them for about 12 years.
Exactly. The only difference is that those aren't framed in glass cases hanging on your wall with a sign that says, one day I'll prove to the world that this... All right, I'm moving on.
It's been on eBay for 7 years.
Yeah.
But with the buy now option, price of $75,000.
Right,
or best offer.
Exactly. Or best offer.
Well, no, then it would be gone.
All right, so... let's get to what could be the most problematic segment in the history of the show. And this show has had innumerable problematic segments. That is dodgeball. Joe is the Asian. That's just a mental note to myself.
Don't ever bother even get to know the Asians' names.
Okay, so the teams are split into red and blue, and then we get to Claire's extreme dodgeball bash. Pat, do you want to cover this, the curveball that's thrown onto the court?
Oh, yeah. This is when Clare comes out and she says, well, first off, this was a great line she delivered. She said, I want some balls.
There's a lot of that stuff. We'll play it.
So sad she had to deliver that line.
Yeah.
Okay, so Claire, after that nonsense, then says, "Oh, I'm changing it up a little bit. We're gonna play strip dodgeball." And I was thinking, harken back to a fan favorite segment, what if the roles were reversed? Can you imagine if a bachelor told all the young ladies, I know we're going to play football today. Turns out we're going to play grab ass.
Branding is so important.
I don't like the way your head just moved on your shoulders when you said that. And I think that you could hear the way that his head moved on his shoulders. Wrong medium, but you could hear it. It was unsettling.
And I do also want to say another objection. Branding is so important, and it is your segment. So I would hope you would have more respect for it. It's called If the Roles Were Reversed.
Right. Roles were reversed.
Not what if the roles were reversed.
Yeah.
You're never going to get a hashtag if you're throwing out multiple titles for the segment.
And we hate long hashtags on this show. But yes, this would never happen if a guy was manning the show. And of course, it shouldn't happen. Neither should this. It's a little weird. Obviously, it's more acceptable. Guys are a little bit more braggadocious. But show me your cocks.
I guess we finally found out what that 5th D was. Dodge, dip, duck, dive, and dick.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this
Not dodge twice.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It's nonsensical.
Okay, so the losers are really losers here. Not only do they not get to spend time with this objectifying jerk of a woman, but they have to pull their cocks out too. And God, do I wish we had Fred Willard this evening. Guys.
Not me.
Oh my God.
Forgive
it would
me.
have killed him. If he was alive and he saw this, he would have died on that fucking day.
I miss our dear old friend, but the last couple of seasons, him guesting on The Bachelor, his jokes slowed down about as much as his brain capacity.
All right, so this really demonstrated the importance of momentum in sports. And I know that you picked up on this. But the red team is down to 1. The first frame. Jay rallies, defeats the 3 on the other side of him, and that kind of emotional swing can really propel a team all the way through to the last frame. When we see some really careless stuff from Garrett, he's laser focused on one opponent. When there are 2 left, he gets completely blindsided, and they, as a result, have to take their cocks out. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's the last frame. You have 2-on-1. You cannot focus directly on one human being. You have to play a peripheral game at that point.
I picked up on all of this, and yes, I was irate.
Okay, night date.
Night date!
Cheers to the balls. Easy takes her first, begins massaging her feet, asks her if she can feel it, and she says totally.
He's a footman.
Yeah.
Yes, he likes feet. I'm a footman. Takes one to know one.
So bizarre.
Love feet.
So
Especially
bizarre.
Open toe heels. Very sexy.
Why are you talking like that?
We're talking like what?
It is such a bizarre fetish to me because I'm so horrified by feet. I mean, I love my wife's feet. I think they're cute, but I mean, they don't really move the needle.
Love Asian woman's feet.
Hey, you're talking like that again. All right.
What are you talking about?
So she sits down with the one named Jason.
Oh, yeah. This is a good-looking dude here.
I think he looks like Ugly Bieber, but Bieber is pretty handsome. So, a downgrade isn't hideous by any stretch of the imagination. But this is when we get the blatant lie about her high school prom. Now, there's some tea here on the social medias. Evidently, the guy who took her to prom watches this show because there are millions of people that do. And his wife went ahead and posted the pictures of them together at prom. Now, these are the kinds of liars you've got to watch out for. Why did you make that up?
Because she's in her own head. And once again, every interaction is not an interaction unless it's a therapy session. Poor Claire. I didn't go to the prom.
But that doesn't explain anything because she did go to the prom.
Oh, well, I have this. Again, because she is always leaning into the woe is me goddamn thing. It's one of those things where technology caught up with the lie, but she didn't readjust to
exactly.
it. She's been telling this to guys she's been dating for 20 years.
Totally.
Right? And now people go, hey, I have that picture somewhere. Let me put that up on that, get a digital version of that, right? And put that up there on Facebook.
Yeah, in her defense, I mean, I don't think to my knowledge, it's not common for people to take pictures when they go to prom.
I took a photo at prom. It was so horrendous. Me and my date looked so bad that my mother called the photography company and said, "This girl is an actress. She's beautiful. I want you to find another frame."
I want to just let the audience in on this is the same woman that once stood in the doorway of a Delta Airlines flight and refused to move until what happened?
The guards came and actually empathized with my mom. They were big dog people.
They wanted to make sure Bernie made it on the flight.
Oh yeah,
Saber at that time.
Get the dog on the flight.
Yeah,
was
get
it?
the dog
Yeah.
on the
Hey guys, before we move on, so anyway, that was up there, right, in the ether, and then Claire Crawley actually decided to respond to it.
Oh, I didn't know about this.
Now, I'm just going to paraphrase what she said. She basically said, "Hey, that's a photo of me going to a dance. That doesn't prove that I didn't go to a prom."
Got it.
All right, so that's interesting,
It
right?
says prom on
It's
the
a little
picture
spin.
frame.
But what's even more fascinating is Nick Vale decided to throw his hat in this little drama here.
Nick Vile, who we're equal opportunity offenders. Now, Pat has loathed Nick Vile for forever for the same reasons that we think Claire is pathetic. Nick keeps coming back to this apple and tries to play it cool like he doesn't need The Bachelor, though it's the only thing propelling him through life and through Halo Top commercials.
All right. Look, the reason I hate Nick Vile is because he's a pathetic hypocrite that has no other ways of making money aside from this franchise.
Yes.
And he leans into it constantly. He actually said on a podcast that he was going to try and step away from this. He was tired of it. He's all in now. So listen to what this idiot said on Twitter. He said, "Promgate, a thread. First," I love when people, they have so many points they got to make. They got to...
It's investigative journalism.
If you want to playfully snark about this pic of Claire at the high school dance, notice he doesn't say prom. Cool. It's a silly, fun show. And that's silly, fun thing to discuss. Number 2, if you're looking at this photo and making blanket assumptions about Claire's character, 3, then you need to chill. This could be a pic from any dance. Number 4, maybe Claire had to ask this guy because he was too scared to ask her. Now he's being her attorney. Hey,
Yeah.
Nick, I'm not even going to read the rest. I see a 5 and a 6 there.
Right.
You're a loser.
And we would love to have you on.
We would
if you
love
want to
to
set up
have
a
him on.
Zoom
We'd love to have you on the
or
show.
Love to have
something.
him on.
You don't have. I know he's pretty COVID safe.
Okay, so
He's dated a 19-year-old. He's 41 years old.
Okay,
we'd love to
Is
have
he
him on.
really?
Yes,
All right,
yes.
so they kiss, and he says that he feels like he's in a fairy tale, and that's when we get to the Canadian Beast. Is his name Blake? It looks like Beast.
Yes, it is Blake. There's 2 Blakes. He's one of the Blakes.
So he decides that the rules do not apply to him. He combs his beard, and he heads over to the group date. Now, one of the guys who will be going home next week is talking to Claire about how he wants to open up his own gym, and that's when Blake shows up. Good on the aspiring gym owner. He at least asks, "Didn't you lose? Why are you here?" But Blake does sit down and says that he's doing what he needs to do. He's showing her that he has balls.
That's 3. That's 3.
It's this show is a mockery of itself, and your throat just did something squiggly.
Can I say something? So Blake did break the rules. His team lost. That means he doesn't get to be on the group date.
Right.
But more of an egregious act that takes place here. I didn't catch the guy's name, but the guy who Blake took his time away from the guy who's going to own a gym.
Yeah.
I called him Wimp Pussy because this guy goes to the
Oh, is
other
that big
4
of a laugh,
guys and he rats Blake out and tells him what he just did to him.
What's he supposed to do?
Call him Wimp
Yeah,
Pussy.
some guy just stepped on my time. Now let's all go over there.
I think
and yell
that's
at
a
him.
gross mischaracterization of what he did. But what do you expect him to do? Just sit down and go, "Hey, how you guys doing?"
I thought it was dope.
I'll
how he-
say, "No, beat it, loser.
Right,
you lost,
right,
and I'm
okay.
going to hang out with her." That's
Got
what a
it.
man does. A man doesn't go back to the other 4 guys and then gets reinforcements. This piece of shit walked back with like the confidence of a guy who just like won the gold fucking medal or something like that. It's like, dude, you're such a pussy. You just had to get 3 other friends to settle your hash with this guy.
And his friends do settle that hash. They stomp up to him like they're in the Jets or the Sharks and remind us why we watch this show.
I just had to share with the team. We've worked so hard, and I don't think it's fair to us. I mean, obviously, Blake,
I get the name.
Like, it was a competition. We want fair and square. Like, we deserve this time.
Yeah, honestly,
voice. I wanted to show her that I had balls, and that's what I'm doing. That's not big balls to me, bro.
They're talking about balls without cracking up. Who is taking this seriously?
Dylan, I pray China doesn't watch The Bachelor, because they're starting to get those warships on the tarmacs, man.
Well, what they don't know is that there's a couple people in the Bible Belt that don't watch this show.
I think...
Thank God for them.
Those are the people who are fighting the wars.
I think this part, when Blake couldn't look these fellows in the eyes as he tried to stand up for himself, I think we all remembered the first Back to the Future when Marty's dad was trying to step up to Biff, the bully,
Yep.
and he was really scared. Then he somehow thought he hit him. Fucking idiot.
Yeah.
We all remembered that.
Just like yesterday.
I miss Universal City Walk.
Me too.
No, I don't. I do enjoy Jurassic Park. Hey, did you guys hear Chris Pratt is a racist?
Hey, shut up.
Okay, so Brandon sits down with Claire, and it does not go well.
I say we just play the clip.
Tell me about you. I want to know, like, what are you doing here? What brought you here?
I never thought I would do anything like this before. And when I found out that you were the Bachelorette, I just knew I had to be here.
So what made you want to be on here for me?
First of all, you're obviously absolutely gorgeous. But
Thank
other
you.
than that, to be honest with you, I don't know really anything about you. I know that you're, from Sacramento. Are you born and raised, or?
Wait, so you said you knew that I was a Bachelorette and you wanted to
Did you
sign up?
relocate to Sacramento? That's the
But
or
you don't
there.
know anything about me?
I don't know you. Obviously, don't know you on a personal level, and don't know your history. You're just so beautiful, and I wanted to get to know you.
Is there any other thing that made you want to come on for me?
I don't know you, Claire.
I don't have a specific answer for you.
Okay.
She's a psycho, but he's dumb.
Yeah.
Can we not talk about that?
No, I just it's.
That's what this entire thing is.
No, I understand, but no, I don't feel like anybody really knew you on a personal level to,
I don't think people have to know me on a personal level.
They could have looked me up online.
There's a lot of guys here that say they like my drive, or they like what I have to offer, or they like that I stood up for myself. I mean,
oh boy, leaning back into that.
Okay,
one
so that's like the
moment.
fifth moment chat. But a couple things about this. One, like, Claire, are you above someone saying that they came here because you're gorgeous? Really?
She did. We covered it on patreon.com/another podcast network. She scolded Juan Pablo for only talking about her looks way back in the day.
nice.
She has been
He
consistent.
did it over and over and over and over and over again.
It's okay though.
He knew her for like 7 weeks, and all he could talk about was her tits. So I
But
think at that
Dylan-
point,
But she gave a great blowjob too.
Okay,
he said.
all right, moving
Dylan,
on to
it's
His words,
okay.
not mine.
All right,
It's
all
okay.
right. So
It's okay.
moving on to number 2. If someone tells you that they came here because they love your drive, or the even more vague what you have to offer, how are you believing them?
They're full of shit.
How could you possibly believe them?
Can I say this? I love that, Dylan, because, all right, so in the Bible, there's the story of King Solomon where 2 women say that they have a baby and it's their baby.
Yep.
And the judge says, all right, why don't I just split the baby up in half, or I can just give the baby to one woman?
Brilliant idea, by the way.
And the one woman says, we'll cut the baby in half. And he says, well, the baby's not going with you then. I'll give it to the woman who said to give it to the other person.
The tug of war version of it, where both women start tugging on the child,
Right.
and then one realizes that she's hurting it, so she lets go.
Right. So anybody that comes into this competition that lays out a fucking string of bullshit anecdotes about
Sure.
how much they appreciate her drive, how much they know how motivated she is, while never meeting her
Yep.
or having any physical experience with her, is full of shit, and they should immediately be eliminated. A guy that comes in and says, I have no idea who you are, but you're very attractive, and I read some stuff about you, seem fun, I'd like to stay around. He should have articulated that a little bit better.
Totally. But this should be how the game is played. If someone with half a brain was the Bachelor or Bachelorette, if someone comes at you with earnest platitudes about how excited and open they are for this journey because of your drive, send them home, because they're fucking weird.
There's two options. They're either lying to your face because they want to win the competition,
Yep.
or they are a Stan level psycho, and you will end up in their trunk driving off a cliff.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
I do want to say this last note on this. Claire, you were absolutely rude, and that was with too much of a heavy hand with this. You basically embarrassed this guy, and then you sent him home. I would have given him a talking to, and I use this as a teachable moment for everybody, perhaps.
Sure.
Look, a lot of these people, and you never think about this when you're watching these idiots on reality TV, they came from whatever city they came from. Not all of them are models that have had TV work. Some are not ready for prime time. And you put them in this moment with 5 camera guys and a lighting fucking guy. Yeah. And then you got this crazy 40-year-old whack job yelling at you.
All right.
Some people we can crack and fall under the pressure. Jesus fucking Christ.
I like all of the things we've said about Claire hold water. Like she's crazy in this moment, but this guy did not do himself any favors. No. This was like an open micer clamming up. He flop sweated. He was shaking. He goes, well, all the other guys didn't know you either. I don't know anything. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying stuff.
He's got a notepad and he's like, what else? What else?
And then he goes, time.
I'm getting the light. You know what? I'm
gonna give time back to the room.
All right, so let's get to Yosef. He is disgusted by Claire.
Can't wait for that.
When the guys, came home in their skivvies or skinnies, whatever the fuck you want to say it, he was heartbroken and angered. So in this moment, he says that he would never strip down. Because he has to protect his daughter. Now, I get where he's coming from. Unfortunately, he's a scumbag. Right message, wrong mouthpiece.
Right. Juan Pablo used to do this after he got his dick sucked by Claire, which is, I don't want my daughter to see this. And I would argue, then JP, don't put the show on when she's in the room.
Do as I say, and then do what you say. All right. So,
well, I just want to say Camilla deserved whatever she saw after just blowing it. That recital.
Guys, you have got to go to patreon.com/Another Podcast Network and
give us money.
Listen to the episode where we cover Camila's ballerina performance. It's
recital.
It's one of the worst performances. It's one of the worst artistic performances in human history. It's fucking disgusting.
Hey, all right. So while all this is going on, she gives that Blake character a rose.
Yes, she does. And poor Zach J first, he's like, all right, this is going to be my moment. I'm going to stand up. I'm closest to her. I'm going to pop up. I'm going to take her first. And I know that he was having butterflies before he did this because, again, not every single one of these guys is camera ready. It takes a lot to perform like this because it is all a ruse. It's all bullshit. So he gets up and he's like, can I take you? And she goes, no, you can't. Blake? And he has to sit down and face like 20 other guys. And it's just so embarrassing. But yes, she takes Blake along. She kisses him, gives him a rose. And guys... now he's on cloud 9. She is setting a really shitty precedent here. The guys know the rules of engagement are completely null and void. Speaking of setting bad precedents, she takes Dale again. I'm really conflicted about how she is as the Bachelorette. I've talked about this, but it's just so funny how much like Blaze. He is Dale's Blaze. #Dale's Blaze. So she kisses Dale and says that this is what she has been dreaming of. Dream big, everybody. That's our show. We'll be back next week for more of Claire's La Ventura, episode 3 of The Bachelorette. Remember, Facebook, search Another Bachelor Podcast. Patreon.
Yeah, let's hit this again. You guys are going to love this. And I'm telling you right now, listen to me. Listen to me. You will not regret it. You'll thank us later. Get over to Patreon. I know it scares some people. They never signed up for an app or something. It's new. Yeah. You're going to be glad you did it. Patreon.com/Another Podcast Network.
And it's really, really simple. It goes straight into your Apple feed. You get all of our
Love is Blind, the entire
best
season.
Content,
our
APS,
Wonderlic scores.
Our Wonderlic scores. I tell my spookiest story ever coming up. The Flashlight Man. It's Halloween. We're celebrating.
And a show where we just shoot the shit.
All right. So patreon.com/Another Podcast Network. And also jump in the iTunes ratings and reviews. 5 stars. Walk away if you can't leave nice words. I'm Dylan saying goodbye. Nick, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Pat, say goodbye.
Later, guys.